Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Scott Latham. John Crean.
Here.
Paulette O'Frias.
Here.
Brian Tobin. Tom Grattan.
Here.
In the event of an emergency, all visitors are advised that they may exit this room from the one side door which leads directly into the parking lot. In the event of an emergency, everyone is asked to move away from the building and do not attempt to leave in your automobiles. This may cause traffic problems and block incoming emergency vehicles.
Thank you. Welcome to our May regular Board of Education meeting. The first thing on the agenda is our first hearing of visitors. At this time, we request questions and comments be kept to agenda items only. Does anybody care to address the board now? Okay. That brings us to our consent agenda. Included in the consent agenda is the approval of our minutes from the special meeting, the BOCES vote April 16th, the regular meeting of April 17th, and the budget meeting of May 8th. It also includes our financial matters, which are our treasurer's report, monthly budget status report, transfers, extra classroom activities fund, and contracts. These are contracts for the following school year, 24-25, and I'm not going to read them all. If anybody cares, they can get in touch with Patty and get them.
They're in the agenda.
They're repeats of every year. And then we are surplusing some computers, some AEDs, some monitors, and some library books. Also included in the consent agenda is the CSE recommendations. Are there any questions from the board members? How long is the life of an AED? I'm just curious. Do we?
I'm not sure.
And there's nothing you can do with them after they?
No.
I know. I don't
7 maybe. I really,
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly, but they have a shelf life.
Yeah.
And then that's it.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Wow.
That is it. They have to be cycled out.
Interesting.
And they've also added more and more regulations. You know, like pretty much every team has to travel with one.
Yeah.
They expect you to have one on every field, and they want you to have them with every team.
And how many do we have within the buildings? We have
Oh, we have a
several
lot.
now.
We
I
have a
remember
lot.
when there was one in
We have a
each
handful
building,
up on
right?
the walls, and then we have a number that, travel with our teams.
Wow, interesting.
Mhm.
All right, is there a motion to accept the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion. Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, that brings us to our budget vote and election results. School budget, yes, 486, no, 126. Library budget, yes, 496, no, 107. The board candidates, John Crean, 308, Paulette O'Frias, 431, Tom Kennedy, 328. Is there a motion to certify the results?
Make a motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Old business? Oh, I have a little bit of old business. I think it's old business. Where are we on the cell phone policy or discussion? Because I've had other people ask me, and it reminded me.
Yeah. So we started conversations with our students this year, and then we're going to progress with our teachers and parents and stuff into next year.
Okay, there was a very interesting expose in the Today Show this morning about
Okay.
and schools
Yeah.
are getting real positive responses from the students not having them
Yeah.
during the day, or in the classrooms, I should say.
I found the response from students to be interesting. It was similar to the response from parents when I met with my advisory council. Some said you shouldn't have them at all. Some said you should be able to use them anywhere, and others said it should be kind of a combination. It was very mixed, but it was, they had some really neat ideas about the fact that, there are times when, the reality is, like one of them said to me, this is kind of how we talk. This is how we communicate with each other. And if you take it away, we don't communicate with each other.
This study showed that they do communicate better with each other.
That's what people say. Typically, the people that say that are people like us that communicate that way. So it may be completely accurate. We haven't gotten that far yet. I haven't gotten enough information.
The school board thing that we get had an interesting article,
I
too.
read it.
Did you read that?
Yeah, I read it. It was an interesting
That was
study.
positive as well.
Yeah. It had both sides in there, but I would say the majority of it was positive.
Well, they had buy-in from the students and the
Yeah.
parents, so it made it
Yeah, which
a
helps.
better process.
Helps
Do we
tremendously,
anticipate something happening for the next school year?
We anticipate figuring out what we're going to do.
Okay.
What that will be depends on, as we go through. I have not spoken with many parents. I've heard from the parents that don't like cell phones in school.
Interesting.
I've not heard from the ones that do. And we do have that because we have people that will send in notes saying, my child has a phone, they need to have it. And, so it's a really interesting topic. It really is. And I see, it's one of those topics where you can understand both sides of it at
Absolutely,
times.
absolutely.
One student said to me, like, during the day, if I didn't have my phone, I'd be completely alone because I'm not talking to other people because they don't talk to me and I don't really, socially, I don't like being with other people or getting along with them. So during class, not using my phone is completely fine, and I shouldn't do that. And I do work with kids in class because my teachers have assignments where I work with kids in class. But in between, I kind of socialize with my phone. I found it to be things that I would never think of. I found them to be very interesting conversations. And, I had a mix of younger and older, but Mr. Rush and Mr. Flanagan are going to try to elicit information from some of our groups up here, too.
Skylar, you want to weigh in?
Yeah, I actually do.
Because Flynn did when he was here
Yeah.
a couple months ago, so come on in.
I think it definitely varies on the person you ask, but Mrs. Elwood, our English teacher, I really like her approach. We have these phone pockets.
Right.
So at the beginning of every class, you put it in there, and it's not like you can't grab it if you really need to take a call or text someone. But what Mr. Morrow was saying, having it in between classes, I don't think is a bad thing. But there's not really a reason that you should be on it during class. So I think it's been mostly positive what Mrs. Elwood has done, and especially during VE, when you're completely locked in, 100% on your work, you don't even really notice it. So I think that honestly works fine with the
I was
pockets.
blown away. We had a parent here a few meetings ago that gave us, what was the hours that his child was, the phone use while in school, and it
A
was,
lot of hours.
I think we were all kind of astounded by the amount of time that the phone was being used during the school day.
I find
It
it,
was crazy.
we started pulling discipline referrals. We've had about 2 phone discipline referrals this year. So that's 400 kids a day times 100 days. We've had 2.
I like to think there's a middle, like you said.
I
I think the
agree, yeah.
classrooms all
Yeah.
have the cubbies, but
Yes.
the teachers, some chose to and
I
some.
believe Mr. Rush purchased the holders, he told me, for everybody.
Yeah, that's what he mentioned to me.
Not everybody uses them. But I also believe he started speaking with some teachers. He hasn't done it thoroughly with all of them, but, he asked them if it was ever a problem. And they said, no, I just tell the kids you can't have the phone out, and they don't have it out. So, there are, I believe, problems in places that don't become problems in other places because of the population you have and how your kids interact, the size of your classes. But there's a lot more research and a lot more information for us to gather.
Not to
before
put
we-
Mrs. O'Neill on the spot, is
decide.
there a lot of cell phone use in the elementary school?
Well, I don't allow. So they can have a phone, it has to be often in their backpack, because our students are 12 and under.
Right.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
Their parents really need them. They'll call
Yeah.
the school, or we have phones in every classroom. If teachers choose to allow kids to use it for a particular reason, that might happen, but we have a one-to-one Chromebook,
Right,
right,
right.
and they're in, so we really don't, we have had things here, little
Yeah.
things here and there, and it's usually a warning, and if next time mom or dad are gonna have to pick up your phone, it's funny, you haven't had to have mom or dad come pick it up.
That's a good thing.
It is.
So you want to hear interesting? And I'm not going to out any individual students, but one of the high school kids said your kids are going to have problems with phones because you use them so much more than we ever did. Kind of like what our generation says. We say, we didn't do that. We never used any of that stuff. So the group that are in high school, one of the 11th graders said to me, the kids from the elementary school use those phones so much more than we do. They're going to have problems when they get older. So I found that, yeah, I found it to be, like they said, those little kids, and I'm thinking, you're like 4 years, 5 years older than them, But I found it a very interesting comment. That's why I have those council meetings, because I get responses from them that are different than any response I could think of myself or ones that I would get from adults. But I found that really interesting that they believe that the current generation of elementary school kids will be more hooked on it, and that it will be more, we should figure something out before that group gets here, was kind of what I took away from it. Those are not the words they used, but that's what I took away from it.
Very interesting.
Yes, it was.
Okay, so we'll work on that. And that brings us to our superintendent's report, and that's you, Dr. Morrow.
Yeah, so I'm not, today I'm just going to report that we've been gathering a lot more information on our district goals, and in the month of June, we will have a full report on where we're at with all of our district goals. We're doing we're seeing a lot of positive stuff with our learning targets and the gathering of information about it. So I look forward to compiling all of that and putting it together and sharing it at our late June board meeting.
Thank you. That brings us to personnel. I always apologize because I cannot pronounce names. I'm going to get yours right, though. I practiced. I practiced. Employees leaving the district. Pamela Palmer, teacher assistant, retirement effective September 13th, 2025. Ellen O'Neill, elementary principal, retirement effective June 30th, 2025. You sure?
No.
You have about 30 seconds till we vote, okay?
So don't ask again.
Okay. Mark Saylor, network systems technician, medical leave effective May 28th, 2024 through June 26th, 2024. Employees leaving the district part-time permanent, Molly Kavanaugh, resignation effective June 25th, 2024. Employees entering the district full-time permanent, I should pronounce this name better because I've pronounced it before. Janaea, help me tell you, Langendahl.
Janina?
Okay.
Langendahl.
Will be the reading teacher effective August 27th, 2024. Employees entering the district full-time temporary, Stephanie Pinkar Coleman, social work leave replacement, effective August 27th, 2024 through April 4th, 2025. Employees entering the district part-time permanent, Nicole Messner, a part-time lunch monitor, effective May 23rd, 2024. And then we have some temporary aides and the election workers and the enrichment camp personnel, and I'm not going to read all those names. And I'll ask for a motion on those recommendations, and then we'll do the tenure, if that's okay.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have 2 tenure recommendations, and I'll let Dr. Moore speak to them before we take our vote.
My next page is.
I can pronounce her last name if you need help.
Oh,
you got it?
Okay. First, congratulations to Nina, who's with us, who's switching over from elementary to reading. So we have 2 tenure recommendations today. Karen Bonaiuto, who is with us today, and Deirdre Mayer, who could not be with us today because her daughter's last middle school concert is tonight. And she felt bad that she couldn't be here, but I told her that, those moments are really more important. So she is in Northport at her daughter's concert right now. Karen is an elementary teacher for us. I've seen her in multiple different classrooms. She has a wonderful connection with her kids, and she understands the importance of being an educator. Receiving tenure in a district, aside from the securities and different things that you get, is a huge responsibility because you're going to shape hundreds of kids' lives over the next many years. And I have full confidence that both Deirdre and Karen take that seriously and will really add very nice value to the Southold school community. So congratulations.
Is there a motion to accept the tenure recommendations?
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Congratulations. Very happy to have you aboard.
Speech.
Maybe one of your children want to say something, no? Thank you for coming, though. We do appreciate
Either
it.
one of them. Well, I don't know. The 2 boys are not that quiet.
They're looking at the clock. The Rangers game's on at 8
Yeah,
o'clock.
yes.
Do we have any new business, anyone? No. Finance Committee? Nothing, right? Building Committee?
Hoping to get the boilers are going to get done, I guess, within the next few months.
Hoping for this summer while it's still warm.
Is there a holdup somewhere?
There's a holdup on everything. State ed was the holdup. We went the emergency route.
Right.
That was sent to state ed, so now we put out to contract. We were told by the contractors that material was not as scarce as it has been in past years, so they didn't believe there would be issues. So, we're not, the holdup was the state, and we figured out a way. They wouldn't give us a definitive answer, but they said, go this route, and that's the route we went, which, it's an emergency. We had 2 boilers that were leaking, so we put it down as an emergency. They don't deem an emergency because then they got to send inspectors and all sorts of other things, which they did not want to do, but they told us to proceed as if it was.
So what happens if it doesn't get done over the summer?
Well, we really actually have September, October. Typically, our boilers don't go on till November. We don't really turn heat on in the buildings until November. It's odd to have a really cold day prior to that. So we should be completely fine. If we do believe that there'll be a delay, we'll probably replace 1 boiler in each building this summer and leave one of the old boilers that will be functional, whichever one is the most functional. We have one of the two in the elementary that's leaking. One of the two up here tends to have some issues, so we would probably replace the one that has the most problems, and then we would have to do the second half of the project next year. Ideally, it would be nice to get all four done, even if we got to use two different contractors. You know,
Is
using.
that the plan to have the 4 done, or just the
Yeah.
2? Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're all the same, you know, they all need to be replaced. You know, if we can get them all done while it's warm, and go into next school year with 4 new boilers, then there's gonna be a couple of decades of no headaches, you
That's
know,
great.
besides your minor little ones. I mean, we had the boiler in this one, we had to have completely replumbed because one of the pumps halfway down the line stopped working, the pump couldn't be replaced, it was too old.
Yeah.
So we had a workaround that they figured out using sump pumps. They left 2 or 3 for us because they were doing it with hot water, which is not really the normal process, and they were afraid it was gonna melt. We got through the winter with heat every day, which was wonderful, but we really don't wanna, you know, doing that dance every year is exhausting.
It sure is.
Yeah.
Is there anything more exciting than the boilers going on in the building and grounds? Because I find that very boring. I like, you know, other kinds of things. Policy Committee, we have nothing to report. That brings us to our second hearing of visitors. This time, we'll take comments and questions about agenda items and any school matters in general. Would anyone care to address the board at this time? I feel like that sun is coming right off.
Yep, you just come right up
Come
here.
on up to the microphone and just state your name. I know your name, but they
My
may not
name's
know you.
John Zavesky. And I haven't been here since I think my wife ran for the board in the 90s, and I was going to sit home for the Ranger game, but
You're gonna make it.
yeah, nah, I'll make it. My first thing is with cell phones, I think it's crazy. I went through 40-some years or 30-some years of life without a cell phone, and every time I got in trouble in this Southold town, you know, my parents are right there, knew about it. No one had to call, you know, and I never had an emergency. Thank God that required, and I hope no one does. But I'm here I want to find out what the criteria Southold Town uses to have that 1 in a million person that comes through these doors, get his number retired on the wall. I see there's people that score 1,000 points. I see this. I see Suffolk County champs. I see everything on that thing, you know. He went to school. He played with great athletes. He played with the O'Briens, you know, the Stepnoskis. We played together. And, you know, I guess I just see it different. I just watched a kid. He lives right across from me. Every day when he's young, playing baseball, basketball, ping, 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 had a batting cage, ping, ping, ping. Friends in and out. This is 10, 11, 12. The kid, 13, 14, he comes down with Ewing sarcoma. So the family's devastated. I Google it, and it's 5% of kids or whatever in the world get it. And it's like a death sentence. But I'm not talking about the community or the people that gave. But to watch that kid have to be carried in his house by his father, and then at the end of the school year, he was on a baseball field. That's all I have to say. He graduated. The people don't stop. His family got friends. I didn't know this was going to be something big, because I was going to try to get to know my road name after him. I thought, when some human being comes through these doors and leaves these doors, and made it through with dignity. He came back with curly hair. I was jealous, you know. I was there when we rang the bell for a year, and it was great. And this isn't about the community. This is about Dylan Newman and his legacy. So thank you.
Thank you, John. That wasn't easy. Thank you very much. Anyone else care to address the board?
Is there any criteria?
You know what, John? I think...
I mean, I know it was
it's
broad
really-
because I was told.
It's really an administrative
Okay.
decision to make and not a board decision.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to me.
Oh, thank you for
Very
coming.
well.
It's an emotional
Composed.
topic.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah. Let's go Rangers.
No Mets?
No, Yankees.
Yeah, we know he's a Yankee fan. Thank you, though, John. Thank you very much. Would anyone else care to address the board at this time? Okay. That brings us to our board member commentary. You're up first.
Okay, yeah.
First, you have to tell us what your plans are post-graduation. That's very important to us.
I'm going to Northwestern, and I'm going to be majoring in economics, so I'm super excited.
Good for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Good luck.
Thanks. So these next couple of weeks are going to be pretty jam-packed. Today, if you didn't already hear, band and orchestra. We went to NISBA majors, and if you don't know what that is, basically you play in front of a judge, and then they grade you gold, silver, or bronze. And it was orchestra's first time, and they got gold, and band got gold, so it's a pretty successful day. Tomorrow we have our National Honor Society luncheon. It's going to be at Allure, so that'll be a nice way to kind of wrap up the year as far as National Honor Society goes. June 5th is the Elementary Olympics, so that's something kind of new we're doing. All the elementary school kids, 4 through 6, are going to come to the high school, and I just think it's a good opportunity for high schoolers who still need hours to graduate. So it'll be 3 hours, and you just set up games and kind of watch the kids for a little bit. It'll be fun. And also on June 5th, which I'm pretty excited for, is our student elections and student body elections. But there's been some big changes. There's no speech requirement. So I think 2 weeks ago, we were having problems because no one really wanted to run for student body, which was a problem. So we had a meeting in front of the school and tried to get kids encouraged to run. And it worked because we have 3 different campaigns that are running now. So no speeches, so there'll be hopefully some videos that we'll get to see on June 5th. And I'm not going to be in the hot seat anymore because part of it is you ask questions and then all the campaign members have to kind of answer, and it's a whole thing, so it's fun. I'm excited for that. The 31st is prom, which is also going to be super fun. It's a night in Tuscany, so yeah, I can't wait for that. And then to kind of wrap up the whole school year, we'll have Spirit Week, Monday through Thursday. So yeah, it's going to be exciting, but I'm ready.
The important question is, who's left in your assassin game?
Oh.
Everybody in town is protecting your
Yeah.
classmates.
We have 20 people left. Hopefully it's done by the last day of school so I can give the money to the winning team.
I
so.
really hope that that's a tradition that continues.
Yeah,
I think that's one of the coolest. You want to explain it? I don't know if the other board members...
Yeah. So some people do it individually, but I decided to do teams. I set it up this year because I just wanted to do it. I thought it'd be fun. So we had about 15 teams. And so every team has one target, and then they have another team that's targeting them. And so there's going to be 3 rounds. The first round just ended. So you had 2 weeks to get an elimination, and the way that you eliminate someone is with a water gun. So you have to just kind of sneak up on your target and shoot them with a water gun. But you can protect yourself with floaties on your arm, or you have to wear goggles over your eyes. But there's one day a week,
Really cool.
1 hour every day called Purge, where the floaties and goggles don't work. So either you stay inside and pray that no one sees you, or you're out. So yeah, so now we're down to 20 kids, and hopefully we have a winner by the last day of school.
Some of the ways have been pretty inventive, how they've gotten each other.
There's been some funny ones.
I think it's a great thing. I think it's a great way
Yeah,
to
I like
end
it.
your time at Southold. I really do. Thank you.
Yeah.
Before we get to the other board members, Mrs. O'Neill, do you want to speak to what's happening tomorrow?
Oh, for Heroes of Women?
Yes.
I thought you meant that senior.
No, it made me...
I had that in 6th grade.
It made me think, when he said the Olympics, it made me think that you have something exciting tomorrow.
I want to give Danielle Donahue and Karen Brown lots of kudos, because they basically did it all. Danielle came to me last year and asked, and I said, if you want to plan the party, I'm good. So we're having Heroes Appreciation, and I think we're up to 50.
Yeah, there's definitely over 40 people.
It started at,
Wow.
kept getting added, so it's firemen, policemen, EMS.
Corrections
Corrections.
and dispatch.
Yes, so any student or faculty member, staff member who has a relative or someone they want to appreciate, they are invited tomorrow. So I believe Detective Boniuto's coming, my husband is coming, so about 50 people. And so They're actually closing the road Oaklawn down for a period of time so that we have a breakfast first. Then our elementary kids are going outside. All the heroes will walk down Oaklawn and be cheered, and the high school is also coming outside at 9 o'clock. And then there's a parade back from the high school to, right, am I getting into so back to the elementary school?
Yes.
We go there and then they come back again, and cheering everybody on. We have a flyover at 9:30, I believe, from Southold. And then there are stations, so the students will then participate in 7, I think, stations are on the field that are everything from fingerprinting to, I think the dogs are coming. There's so much, it's a lot. It's going to be fabulous.
I think it's wonderful.
So actually before that, there's a little ceremony, so each hero will be announced by someone, either their child or a student, a relative, anybody, and we have certificates for them. And then the students will do the centers, and it's over around 12 noon, so it should be amazing. So anyone that'd like to come and be on Oaklawn is welcome to come. The stations are just for students. We're not having parents and everything. It's too much to manage. But if anyone wanted that sees this tonight wants to come, they can come along Oaklawn from about 9 to 9:30 is probably the time.
I think that's great. I think it's a great idea. Is it going to be an annual thing now?
I think so. I think Danielle, the way she worded it to me was maybe not as big as this year. We've already picked a date for next year.
Oh, great.
Which is the same, I think, the Thursday before Memorial Day weekend as well. So I'm not sure exactly what she has in mind, but she said maybe not as big.
I think it's wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for taking that on.
On social media, I'm sure.
I think it's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Crean?
I wanted to thank the people who supported the budget again, overwhelmingly. This is almost like a college campus. I mean, it's just gorgeous here. And, to have that at a small public school is really special. And year in and year out, through good times and bad, people come out and they vote yes for 40 years, right? Or.
About that.
And I think that's just wonderful, and it's a testament as to how special a place Southold is, and I'm appreciative of that, as should everybody. It's a beautiful, beautiful place, and because of the support we get. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Mr. Batten?
I'll echo that. That's definitely big, and congratulations to you on your tenure, and everybody enjoy the holiday weekend coming up. Be safe, and that's it.
I want to congratulate the tenure teachers. Karen, you've been the most patient teacher in our district, I think, the last few years, and we're happy to have you. We're lucky to have you. Mrs. O'Neill, you want to change your mind? The meeting's not over yet.
I know. I don't know what I want to do. So I have to.
We go back a long way.
We do. It'll be 20 years at the end of next year.
I haven't been on the board that long. I couldn't be.
And, well, we were, what, 10?
Yes. Well, I was going to ask John to tell everybody what this was when he was in high school, because it wasn't this beautiful library. You didn't go to school here?
Yeah, no, he used to wrestle.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Yeah. We were telling that to...
I graduated 40 years ago.
No,
For a long time.
long time, forever. I've known you for...
Softball.
Yes, we won't talk about...
Bucket of beer.
This is being videoed. We don't want to talk about that. Those were the days, though,
Back
weren't
in the
they?
80s and 90s.
Those were certainly the days. Yeah, you're right. I want to thank the community for the overwhelming support on the budget. That's the important thing to me always, and it's not just the parents that vote yes on our budget. It's our community, it's our senior citizens, and that's why we try and balance being fiscally responsible with the needs of the children. And I get emotional every year when it passes, because as Dr. Crean said, we're a special place, and it's because of everybody that supports us. Personally, I want to thank everybody, for supporting me and voting for me, because it's been a lot of years, and I appreciate it. And the Suffolk Times reporter asked me last night what I wanted to say, and all I wanted to say is thank you. I love this school, I love this community, I love the kids. It's really all about the kids, and it has to be about the kids, because none of us should be here if it's not about the kids. And Dr. Crean will talk about you next month. Okay? Our next board meeting dates. We have a work session on June 12th, and our last board meeting of the year will be June 26th. That's just an FYI. Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.